I'm Mario and I'm going to carve a piece of stone. I want to make this video for you guys at home to see how a stone is carved. The whole process will be shown to you, from the drafting, the carving, and also the final placement of this piece of work. There will be some unpleasant surprises inside this rock, like these holes here, because it's travertine. I want to have a fancy shelf made out of stone. I made a mock-up out of cardboard to imagine it better. This is the profile that will run around the block, so let's construct it. Using only a ruler and compasses, I can bring that simple shape to life, but it will look great when it's finished as a carving. I also made a plastic template in the original size. I illustrated the process to visualize which steps will be needed to carve away our shape. I mark the first block that needs to be carved away and scratch the edges with my tool. Now we see what we need to get rid of in the first step of work, which will be this black square, and we need to carve it away and we need to be precise because this pattern is made of geometric shapes. The carving itself will be quite fast because it's a soft material. I only need to be cautious because it's also a fragile material. Here I carve a notch along this side to later use my pitching tool, which is rather small, to get rid of the big chunks. Now that I have very roughly carved out the shape that I want, the next step will be to clean up the edges. Let's check if we got our first edge on a good square. Nice! When carving stone, it's important to keep your chisels sharp. Some snow from outside on my grindstone will help me with that. After finishing the surface with the point chisel, the next step will be using the claw chisel. I made quite a mess. Tomorrow I'm going to buy something to cover this tool rack up. So we will have a new background tomorrow. So I made the place a little bit more dust proof. My stone and my tools. Let's get started again. It's getting quite cold right now, but that's not going to hinder me to work today. The next step will be make those small steps here. As to the rock itself, the travertine contains some sulfur, so it smells like rotten eggs from time to time. But yeah, that's just what it is. The next step will be to take out this square here. Well, almost looks like one of those old step pyramids. Our next step will be to do this quarter circle here on the top half. And how exactly are we going to make a round shape with only flat chisels? So here you see the holes which are inside the material. They are pretty deep and some will stay in the final product. But that's just nature. By putting tangents on the circle, we come closer to the final round shape. Until there is so little material left that we can just smooth it out. Finally, I lowered the edges for it to have more interesting shadows. The only thing left to do is to mount it on the wall. I hollowed out the backside and drilled these holes into the top of it for them to lock into these screws.